Hey guys, welcome everyone. Welcome to today's episode. We're thrilled to have you here as we talk about the essential topics for almost every business owner, client contracts. I'm Melinda and with me is Lisa, and today we're going to cover the why and how of client contracts, helping you navigate the world of contracts with confidence and clarity. So grab your notebook and let's get started.
Hey, y'all. I'm Lisa. Absolutely, Melinda. We are going to talk about just why client contracts are a must-have for just about any business, especially if you're in the situation like Melinda and I are as virtual assistants, where we are mostly independent contractors. It's really like a roadmap for your business relationships. And when you have a contract, it sets that foundation by outlining what you're going to do, that project scope, how big is your project, what's part of it, the expectations that both you and your client have, because that's one of the biggest things there is what do I expect? What do they expect? And then the boundaries that you set also should be in there. That will prevent misunderstandings and disputes and anything else that might come up. It just really, gives you that sense of professionalism when you can deliver a contract that shows that you're committed to them, you're committed to delivering their value, and you know the value of being very clear about that too. It's also a safety net. It provides, legal protection for you and your client when you're looking at that, and when both of you are looking at it and you're on the right page or on the same page, I guess I should say.
Right. Yes, totally. So it's definitely something that was hard for me to wrap my head around. So thinking of contracts as a shield that safeguards your business interest can kind of help shift that. Like if you're not a very detailed, technical kind of person, they help you define payment terms, manage expectations, set boundaries, and even address like potential issues that might arise during the project. So when you have a solid contract in place, you're showing your clients that you take your work seriously and that you're investing in their success.
Yeah, I like how you mentioned that it really was something that's kind of hard, especially when you're not used to writing contracts for your work. Those of us who are W-2 earners, we might sign a contract at the beginning, but then we just do our job. So this is definitely a little bit different when you're owning your own business. So let's just talk about what goes into a client contract. And I want to say that first and foremost, you really do have to have a clear outline of your scope of your work. What are you delivering for your client? That's where you can detail everything. Be really specific, because by doing that, you're really setting the stage for a smooth collaboration on it. When you can outline everything that you're going to be doing, and whether it's by giving them a list of the things or actually having it step by step in there, telling them the tasks that you're going to perform, what you're delivering for, if it's a physical product or even a digital product, how long, the timelines that they can expect and their expectations from that. It also, and this is a really big thing for me, is that when I can look at what I've given a client for to be done, it helps prevent what I'll call scope creep. It's like when those little tasks creep up on you, when additional tasks are asked or responsibilities are added to it, and you start to just be like, oh yeah, sure, I'll add that. But really you start to kind of resent that if you're not being appropriately compensated for the time or effort you're spending on it. So really having that clear expectation at the beginning, and then being able to say, absolutely, I can do that. Let's amend our contract. Or no, that won't fit in with my schedule. Is there something else I can do to help you? Being really solid, clear on that is super important, because that way you don't resent them. They aren't expecting more from you, and you can be, honest with them a little bit, I think, with that.
Yeah, 100%. So it's easy. It's so easy to start adding tasks without even thinking about it. And it just seems like you say, oh, sure, no problem, I can do that. But you have to realize that you're adding work to your workload, and you need to be compensated for it, or it's going to create a resentment.
Absolutely.
So you might need to, like Lisa said, amend the contract, and then make sure that you're clear on payment terms. Be sure to specify your rates, your payment schedule, any late payment penalties. Like, this ensures that both you and your client are on the same page regarding compensation. And the contract details the payment terms, including the rate, how you're going to get paid, and your invoicing schedule, so they will know what to expect. And this ensures that the virtual assistant's compensation is clearly defined and agreed upon. And that way it'll leave, it will reduce that likelihood of you like fighting over it or having any kind of like dispute.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, we also have to realize too that what you create is your intellectual property. So if you've not sold that to your client, let's say you have created a whole bunch of graphics and you're using that on their, their platform, right? Their social media platform or what have you. And it's not actually it's not actually theirs, it's yours, it's from your account. It's not theirs to use necessarily, right? So in case you created ahead of time, you put it on something that you guys are sharing that actually is their account, they can't just run with it and say, okay, well, I'm gonna drop the contract now because I can't afford to pay it. But you've done all this work and have planned all this stuff out ahead of time, and that just makes you feel terrible. So, if the virtual assistant is creating like the original content and designs or other intellectual properties, the contract can specify ownership and usage of rights. So this protects the virtual assistant's creative work and ensures that the client understands the limitations of their usage.
Yeah, that's a really good point. And you can decide on that. That can be something that you can say, all graphics created or all whatever is created is yours, or, it can't be sold or whatever it might be that you want to make sure that you're protecting yourself. And that's totally up to you, but you make sure that you're clear on that in your contract. Yeah. And you can have different types of contracts. Melinda and I do a lot of independent contractor agreements, but I also do retainer agreements where someone has contracted me to just kind of be on hold for them. I don't have a specific task weekly or daily or anything like that for them, but I can be on hold so that when they need me within a reasonable time period that we agree upon, then they can contact me and say, I need my website updated, or I need this email campaign to go out, or whatever it might be. So you can develop different types of contracts. They're similar for sure, but just making sure that you've got that agreement there. You do need to protect yourself to have something there with your online relationships or whatever. They do serve different purposes, but they focus on whatever you happen to be doing with your work arrangement. A retainer agreement, again, is more of like they're going to keep me on for month after month to do a certain task for them when they're ready for that. Another thing that is one of those things where you might not think about it is the area of confidentiality. You might consider adding a non-disclosure or an NDA agreement section, and your client may ask for that as well, because if you are a virtual assistant, you have access to some really sensitive information, and you want to make the client feel confident that they can share that with you without them worrying that you might share with someone else. I'm not going to, share your email or share your whatever it might be, passwords or whatever it is. Not that anybody would, that's the thing. You definitely are, want to operate with integrity, but having that clause in there can certainly help your client feel more comfortable. So I would never talk anybody out of having that in there. It builds trust. It protects your client's data. Whatever it is, you want to make sure that everybody is safeguarded in both parties, yours and theirs, with the information that might be shared.
Absolutely. And so let's not overlook, though, the termination clauses, because that's a huge deal too. Yep. So clearly define the conditions under the contract can be terminated by either party. And what does that look like? So really, this avoids confusion if the circumstances change during a project, and it can always change. I mean, Lisa and I have had some situations where we've had to change some stuff up, which is totally fine. But contract can outline the procedures for contract termination, including any notice periods or conditions under which either party end the agreement. So additionally, the contract can specify remedies and actions to be taken in case of breaches or disputes. So you're going to want to make sure that you have that clearly laid out.
Yeah, don't get yourself stuck or get their client stuck, because if things don't, as we say down south, don't G and haw, where you're not getting
Right.
along, you're just not aligning. And things
Yes.
come up. You want to be able to gracefully be able to exit in a way that you both agree upon. So yeah, I like the termination for sure. Well, let's talk about, kind of as just a help. Where do you find a contract? Honestly, you can Google just about anything and find different types of contracts, free and paid for. You can also, of course, if you have a trusted legal professional that you can consult, definitely think about doing that. You can find online resources. I know that we've looked at Legal Shield. There's going to be a fee with most of that. Some of these I have not ever looked at or used, but I have others who have referred them to me. Like there's one, Rocket Lawyer. Any of those Rocket seems like it's a pretty solid thing.
Right.
Ocracy, Bonsai, those are some others. They actually have templates for you to customize. But the one thing that Melinda and I are kind of sad about, y'all know, if we've ever been on here, if you've been on here at all, that we talk about how Canva is the thing. Well, you can't find a template like this on Canva. You can find lots of other stuff, but you cannot find that on Canva. It'd probably look pretty if you could, but they don't have that. But ChatGPT and other AI systems, because ChatGPT, all it is it's a very fast storehouse of a search engine. You type something in, it grabs all of the information it possibly can from its knowledge base, which is the internet, pulls it in and gives you that answer. So you can ChatGPT a contract specific to your type of business. It'll have blanks for different things. You can even put in with, the client is this name, the business is this name. You can have it filling those things in, but you can also have it print out kind of a generic one that you can adapt to yourself. So I would, and that's free. You can go ahead and maybe later you might want to have, like I said, a legal professional that you're friends with or that you trust to look at it to make sure everything's covered. But it'll pretty much cover all the points that we've talked about. And I think that it's not a bad thing to use that. And then you can copy it into a Google Doc, have that ready, figure out a way to get that client to sign it virtually is even better. And you got it. You'll have a good, solid contract with that, I believe.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely, Lisa. And every client and project is unique. So make sure that your contract should reflect that. Make sure to address the specific needs of your business and your clients, and don't hesitate to seek legal advice, especially when you know that someone might have maybe a more difficult personality to deal with. Contracts can be structured in a way that allows flexibility and scalability, but it can also include provisions for like future amendments, extension, changes to the scope of work as the client's needs evolve.
Very good point, because they often do change when they aren't. When we get clients a lot who aren't sure at the beginning what they want, and they may do one thing, and then they may say, "I don't want that, but I do want that." So you can go back and forth with that for sure. And there's certain, depending on your area, depending on your state, you may have certain legal things that do need to be addressed. That's, again, you might want to seek the legal counsel, but again, you can look things up on the internet specific to your state, your district, or whatever. But it can save a lot of headaches, save a lot of problems, all of that. And that's what you really want to do. You want to enjoy your business without worrying about your business.
That is very true. And on that note, guys, we're going to wrap up. Client contracts can be complicated, but they don't have to be. Once you get a good, we call it the bones, the bones of the contract, you can oftentimes add things in there and take things out as you need to. Just save it individually into a folder on your computer, so you'll have those contracts readily available for your clients. So until next time, remember, slay those giants, girls, so you can live happy, joyous, and free in Christ and start changing your family tree. Bye, guys.
Bye-bye.